Hello and welcome to a new morning briefing presented by Stein Investments. Today I'm a bit earlier. As you can see on the timestamp here, we are in the first hour of the London session, which I usually await, but today we see once more this wonderful correlated down move from the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar, and so I was keen to share the setup with you as soon as possible and enter the corresponding trades as soon as possible. So besides the strength, or better say weakness, of the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar, we see that the retail trading volume is perfectly stable. It rose during the last 2 hours and it's currently here on this level without any force to the downside, so I think we can trust this market. And best thing is, the Aussie dollar is the one with the most interest here in new trading positions, and the interest of the retail traders is in Aussie dollar sell positions, so this also confirms what we see here in our strength analysis. The same is true for the New Zealand dollar, even if the interest is a bit lower, but the interest is there and it's also for sell positions. So in this case, we see a correlated currency move and it's confirmed by the trading volume. That's exactly what we are looking for, and I'm really curious how this will turn out today. Please keep in mind this is still an experimental strategy. I didn't post any blog article about it, but if setups appear so obvious, then we have to give it a try and to experiment and to see what it gives, and if we as users of this suite of tools can benefit from another wonderful trading strategy to achieve more profits. So the situation on the euro against the Aussie dollar is not quite clear, but it is clear that the Aussie dollar is showing some serious dynamic to the downside here across all periods, across all analysis periods, and this is less interesting because there is no easy scalping entry to be made here. These spikes that appear pretty often during the first hour of the London session are the reason why I usually await this and wait until it becomes a bit clearer in which direction the market will move on. And this provides us an interesting stop loss level. So if we go long here in this pair, then I would set the stop loss right below here, and we already have 87% of the ATR, but that's quite okay, and I like to see if we can achieve the 100% level, and so I place my profit target right below that. Let's have a look at the British pound against the Aussie dollar. Here we can see that we already have a breakout strategy setup with a one-sided dynamic coming from the Aussie dollar. The British pound is showing currently no dynamic to the upside, so that's no big deal. The long-term trend is an uptrend, and so we can place a long trade here as well with a stop loss below here, and the 100% ATR is our profit target. The next support level is so far below that it doesn't suit as stop loss here in this example, and so I try to scalp a short move and benefit from this short-term dynamic. I hope it will turn out. We can place the stop also here if you want to see a bit more space in this trade. The difference is not that much, but maybe we have a bit more security in this one. I leave it here to see what it gives, and you can trade it as you like, but please keep in mind that we want to achieve at least a risk and reward ratio of 1 to 1 or even better. So let's check the other Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar pairs. Okay, this ranged during the past hour, but there is some limited potential to the downside. We already achieved 93% ATR, but to give this experiment a chance and to analyze the trades later on, I will take them and set my profit target here at the 100% ATR, because if there is a serious trend, the volatility can easily go far beyond the 130% we usually use as our latest point to exit. New Zealand dollar against the yen provides the same scenario here. There is no obvious last high, so I place my stop loss here and then aim for the 100% ATR. What else we can trade? The Aussie dollar against the US dollar, also very interesting. Use this one here as stop loss, and then you can see, thanks to the duration FX levels draws on the chart as well, that these support levels are pretty new, and so they are less relevant, and I'll go for the 100% ATR here as well. Same story for the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar. In this case, I go for the 80% ATR, which is far enough, and we also see here that we already achieved 82% ATR, so going for the 100% would be maybe too much, but there is a serious support level here which is already almost 8 days old, so this would be an even better target, and that's probably the latest point where the New Zealand dollar will hit and reverse, at least for a while. There is also a new breakout strategy setup appearing here, even with double-sided dynamic, because the US dollar is showing some upside dynamic with the 4 hours here above the 1 week analysis period, and the same is true for the New Zealand dollar, which is going dynamically down, and so it's very likely that these trades will reach their targets. What else we have? New Zealand dollar against the Canadian. Seems to be a very long down move, but it's only 68% ATR, and so I will trade this one as well with a stop here on the upside and a profit target here at the next support level. We'll see how this will turn out, and then we'll also have the Aussie dollar against the Canadian dollar, which is currently hitting a support level, but if this dynamic persists, it will probably go through that, so I'll set my stop here and the profit target here at the 80% ATR. It doesn't matter if one of these trades won't work, because if the other ones do, then it's fine. You can't win on every trade. In the end, what counts is what is the profit for the day, and that's what we'll see here in a few hours. Maybe it's better to use the 100% ATR. Anyway, it's just an experiment to see what's possible. In this case, this scenario fits a few strategies here. You can see there has been a breakout strategy set up with a double-sided dynamic Aussie dollar against the Canadian dollar short. So this is perfectly in line with what we are doing here. And so we'll see how this will evolve over time, and I guess I will create another short trade recap video either this evening or tomorrow at the latest. So now we already have 8 positions running. This is a risk of 2% on this account, and we'll see how this will turn out. I see we already have more than 10 minutes recording time, and so it's time to move on with our currency overview. The currency overview mainly confirms what we already traded, with the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar showing some serious dynamic to the downside, and you see the correlation between them. And the counterparts we traded are the euro, which is currently undecided, the British pound is almost the same, then the US dollar, which is showing some dynamic to the upside, same as the Canadian dollar, which is the most active in the buy direction right now. The Japanese yen is weakening currently, and the Swiss franc is tending to the upside, which is interesting to see them split apart, and I assume the Japanese yen will return to the upside as well during the day. So maybe we can add 2 trades for the Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar against the Swiss franc, which we are currently missing because the Swiss franc might be a good counterpart for this trade as well, and so we would increase the total risk of all positions from 2 to 2.5% with 10 positions then. And so let's have a look at the corresponding charts. New Zealand dollar against the Swiss franc is currently ranging, but it's also a breakout setup with a double-sided dynamic. So I would short this with a stop loss here and the profit target down below here at this support level that is 2 days old. So let's place that one here and our profit target here, and then we'll check the situation on the Aussie dollar against the Swiss franc. Pretty identical moves, and there is a new support level, but this is less relevant in my opinion because it formed 2 hours ago. So we'll take the chance to sometimes this prototype doesn't react because the label is inside such a support or resistance level, and then it doesn't recognize the click. So let's place it here, and then we'll see how this turns out over the day. Regarding our trades manager, we are currently working on a first prototype, and we are planning to release a first version in the next 3 to 4 weeks and add more useful features over time. But we get so many requests these days when we will release our trade manager, and so this is a first information for all those who are interested. We have to work on the framework and the features first. I'm currently mostly working on the graphical elements that are necessary for the GUI, and once we have a first prototype with the GUI, you will see it here on my chart, and we do our best to present you this new project as soon as possible. So now we are done with the currencies, and a user asked us if we couldn't do a special analysis for gold where he is mostly interested in, and I said yes, of course, no problem at all. And that's today's analysis for gold with our usual chart setup. IX Power provides you an easy scalping setup here a few minutes ago, but the price isn't moving that much since then. Nonetheless, gold is extremely strong here in mid and long-term analysis. Currently not that dynamic here, and the US dollar is still neutral. So in my opinion, it's still a valid uptrend, and there is no serious resistance here. This one is only 5 hours old. So if you want to trade this, place the stop loss here at this low and go for the 100% ATR. The reason why I say to go for the 100% is that I already noticed that gold only moved 35% here today. So this is a pretty excellent opportunity, and I will add this to my trades for today as well. Let's move on with the non-forex symbols, starting with the Bitcoin as usual. Currently built a new resistance level here where it struggled to break through, but the long-term trend is also neutral. We are hovering around the $83,000 mark. There are plenty of support levels here, but there is still no clear direction, and that's what IX Power analyzed here as well. We can quickly move to the oil chart, which is a bit more clear because oil formed a new uptrend here during the past hours with some spikes to the downside, but this will probably offer a possible easy scalping entry later today. Situation on the Dow Jones is that we have a pretty solid downtrend here, currently spiking to the upside, and we are sitting at a support level, at 2 support levels here already, but it looks like this might reach the opposite extreme. That's what we are waiting for with the easy scalping strategy, and once this is done, it will return to its main trend, and this offers our index traders an excellent opportunity with a great risk reward ratio, because these levels are pretty new and might not be the right choice for a profit target. So I would aim the 80 or 100% ATR as profit targets later today. We'll see if we'll get an alert from our custom alerts tool in this regard, and then we can add the trade for the Dow Jones here as well. German DAX is untradable right now. There is no clear trend. The situation is, I would say, a bit confusing. We are sitting inside this support level. It's really not worth being considered for a trade during the next hours, or maybe even the entire day. So that said, we are done with today's morning briefing. I hope you enjoyed it, seeing our new experimental correlation strategy. I'm really curious how this will turn out, and I'll keep you posted in the next one. See you and bye bye.